I thought it was going to be a sham when it was only Japanese citizens that were going to be allowed at 50% capacity. Now you take away that it makes it even worse.
The big headline across the globe is the Olympic Games in Tokyo will be held without fans.
And they're not going to show shots like this from Tokyo because there'll be no fans in that empty space.
They are going without fans. That was announced this morning, and it's not great, just to say the least, because we were getting energized for the Olympic Games, and then now knowing that we're going to be watching the Olympic Games without fans in attendance sucks, quite frankly. They've decided to go without fans in Tokyo for everything. And this starts now through August 22nd in Tokyo, so they're in a state of emergency for COVID and coronavirus. That means everything that takes place during the Olympic Games will be held without fans. Only those in the Olympic Village will be attending anything going on with the Olympic Games. That would also mean that the opening ceremonies will be held without fans. That sight, that the appeal and the energy to that event is sucked right out of it now. And I'm trying to think about all the different events where you hear the fans' energy. Chad was pointing out prior to the show today, the swimming, track and field, gymnastics. Think about the sounds and the sights and sounds that we see and feel every 2 years, every 4 years for the Summer and Winter Olympic Games that we're not going to have now after being delayed for a year.
If you're an athlete at the Olympics, particularly if your event's early, I don't know what your travel plans are necessarily or how that's set up, but if you're an athlete with an early event and you can stay, man, you can go sit front row for the rest of the Olympics and have a remarkable experience at seeing stuff. But your Olympic experience is nowhere near the same.
My guess is as soon as you're done, though, Paul,
they're sending you home.
No, you want to get out of there based on the protocols that you have to follow.
Yeah, it's a real shame. I think we missed fans for everything that there wasn't fans at. But I think as a TV viewer, I among the three of us had the least hard time with it. I was okay with watching a game for the game. But the Olympics, with the national fervor or with rooting for a storyline and coming to root for some other country's heroic performance in their event when your country's out of it, and the storylines and all of that, I think we will miss fans at the Olympics more than we've missed fans at anything else where fans were missing. I think it really takes a lot of the juice out of a thing that's lost a lot of juice as it is. It's a made-for-TV product, though, and I think NBC's hoping that if the Americans go and do their part in it, that maybe they can get the same fervor at home on our couches without the background.
One thing that I'm not clear on, just as the news came out this morning, is it's worded specifically for any events held in Tokyo. For the Summer Games in Atlanta in the late 90s.
They went to the Akoi River.
Yeah, they were in Tennessee.
For whitewater rafting.
So if you're outside of Tokyo, can you have? I don't know. I doubt it. Like that, my initial impression is no.
Nationwide.
But the way it's not nationwide though. It's specific to the city. No fans allowed in the city of Tokyo. So. Could we actually see fans out? I don't know.
The problem with that, though, is the places that would be out of the city aren't going to have a lot of fans anyways. That's not something we're watching for a fan.
We're presuming the pool, the basketball,
it's all there.
The gymnastics are in the city. The equestrian event that's out of the city is not the big fan draw event. So we're not going to miss the fans at the equestrian event when we take a peek.
Yeah, that sucks. It was a big letdown. It was already cut to 50%, and then
no international.
And yes, exactly. And now they've just said they met and said no fans. And the quote, as I'll pull it up here from CBS Sports, the Prime Minister said, taking into consideration the effect of coronavirus variants, and not to let the infection spread again to the rest of the nation, we need to strengthen our countermeasures. Given the situation, we will issue a state of emergency for Tokyo.
Also, the economic.
They are up 920 new COVID cases as of Wednesday.
And this isn't just about Japan. I mean, I can understand safety here in that these athletes are coming from all over the place, and I have no idea what the situation is in all of these countries these people will be returning to in terms of vaccination, in terms of what they might be bringing in and taking back. So it's a tough spot for the Olympic people to be in terms of huge numbers of people coming together and then going back to countries where we have no idea what the situations are.
Well, and I'm having a hard time getting really excited for these Olympics to begin with. But I always say that, and then when they get here, I get excited. Yeah, there's no build-up, right? Once they're here and they're on all the time, you start watching. Yeah, I mean, you know, Paul, you said it's lost so much luster. Well, I don't remember in 2016 not being into the Olympics, the last Summer Olympics in Rio, right? I mean, it happens, and you get up for it when it happens. Mm-hmm. But the cheese factor is high in the Olympics, and what I mean by that is, UW on the YouTube chat said, you know, I know Paul hates pageantry, but are they doing a parade of nations, for instance? There is a pageantry cheese element to the Olympics that I love. I covet every 4 years. I love hearing the sob stories of these athletes. I love hearing about the mom and dad who sacrificed for the kid. Then they pan up to the stands, and there's the parents of the American water polo goalie during the water polo match, and they're interviewing them during it. I mean, all of that is taken away with no fans. Now, this was done before with no international fans. I thought it was going to be a sham when it was only, you know, Japanese citizens that were going to be allowed at 50% capacity. Now you take away that even, it makes it even worse. But I think when they wouldn't allow international fans to be there, it took away a lot of the luster of what we watch the Olympics for. Yes, we watch for the sporting events first and foremost, but there is something that is so specific to the Olympic experience every 2 years now when you watch, and part of that is seeing the family members and friends of the athletes, even at sporting events that aren't widely attended, right? There's not a huge sold-out crowd for the early pool play of water polo or for handball, but the stories are what brings you back, and seeing the family members that got just things like that go away, it's a real bummer.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified every time Outkick 360 goes live. We are live weekdays, 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern, right here across the Outkick network. And while you're at it, like this video and let us know what you think in the comments below.